Rudolph Isley, who has died aged 84, was a founder member of the Isley Brothers, who started out in the 1950s on the black rendition circuit but went on to deliver pop, rock, funk and soul hits across the decades. Though he mainly sang harmonies, he provided lead vocals on several of their hits, including You Still Feel the Need, one of their funk classics. Rudolph Bernard Isley was born on April 1, 1939 in Cincinnati, Ohio, to Sallye née Bell and O'Kelly, a former sailor who performed in vaudeville. With his brothers Vernon and O'Kelly, known as Kelly, Rudolph sang in the church choir, then began performing concert dates. Aged only 13, Vernon was killed when he was knocked off his bike, and another brother, Ronnie, took over. They moved to New York to seek a recording deal, and began to play the Midwest circuit. One of their most popular numbers was Lonely Teardrops, which had been a hit for Jackie Wilson, and their high-octane rendition of it One Night in Washington proved to be pivotal. One of the lines in their version was, "You make me want to shout," and as they emphasized the shout, the audience went wild. The reaction switched on a light in the head of Howard Bloom of RCA Records, who was there that night, and he proposed to the boys that they write a song based around the word. His instinct was sound, and shout went gold, though some churches objected to its blasphemous appropriation of gospel music. The Beatles soon incorporated it into their set, and in 1964 Lulu and the Lovers took it to number 7 in the UK, and it later featured in the 1978 film Animal House. But after the follow-ups flopped, they left RCA for Wand Records and had a hit with Twist and Shout, which would also be covered by the Beatles. In 1964, when they needed a guitarist to play on their new single, they picked a promising former soldier named Jimi Hendrix. He toured with them for a few months before joining Little Richard's backing band, the Upsetters. In 1965 the Isleys signed for Motown, but though This Old Heart of Mine was a top 20 hit in the US and reached number 3 in Britain, to where they relocated for a couple of years, chart success was otherwise hard to come by, and in 1968 they left in favor of their own label, Teaneck, a reference to Teaneck, New Jersey, where some of them lived. They had an immediate hit in 1969 with It's Your Thing, which earned them a gold disc, and into the following decade they developed its funkier style even further, while Rudy worked on a singular style of his own, donning furs and big hats and wielding a jeweled cane. A long stream of hits followed, such classics as Harvest for the World, Fight the Power and Summer Breeze, and they were joined by two more brothers, Ernie on guitar and Marvin on bass, and by Rudolph's brother-in-law Chris Jasper on keyboards. In the 1980s they continued to accrue a vast array of gold and platinum discs, then in the middle of the decade they split into two factions, the originals carrying on as the Isley Brothers while the new boys traded as Isley Jasper Isley. But in 1986 Kelly, the eldest of the brothers, died of a heart attack in his sleep. Rudy had been particularly close to him, and was devastated. In 1989 he quit to become a Christian minister, and though he joined up for the occasional reunion gig he stayed away when they were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1992, though he did join Ronald and Ernie in 2004 when they received a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Black Entertainment Television Network. In 1996 he released a gospel album, Shouting for Jesus. Earlier this year, Rudolph filed a lawsuit against Ronald over the rights to the Isley Brothers trademark. The case was unresolved when he died.